Man, I saw a title the other day on like one of these online forums that I was reading. And it was like, in business, the number one thing we have for sale is hope. And when I read that, I didn't know how to feel about it because people are like selling hope. And when you're selling something, it's like transactional. And for me, it just made me start asking questions like, man, the number one thing that people are selling nowadays is hope. Like, what does that say about where we are as a people? And God started to deposit into me this concept of like, man, be anxious for nothing. Like, even I was talking to my friend about a week ago, and he was like, man, people are more anxious than ever. Like, people are on the edge. And I get it. We're living in turbulent times, right? We live in every day there's something new or some new article or something else to be worried about or something else to be concerned with, right? And man, I'm gonna be honest. From the way that I grew up, just always looking to solve a problem, right? Always looking to have something to work on, or always looking to be busy. I struggled with this for 10 years. And, I'm recovering. But I struggled with this concept of being anxious for about 10 years. And for anybody that's dealing with anxiety or you're always feeling like for the next thing, here's what I learned. It's hard to appreciate now when you're not mindful of the prayers you had back then. I'll say that again. It is hard to appreciate now the root of anxiety, meaning you're not in the moment because you do not remember or are not mindful of the prayers of back then. And I know the God that I serve, I know the God that you serve. There's a really great chance that you're living in the things that you once prayed for. To a degree. You may not be famous, you may not visited Japan yet, but to a degree, you're probably living out some of the prayers that you once prayed a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And the root of that anxiety is you're not mindful of that. You're not mindful of the things that you used to cry in your prayers about. You're not mindful of the prayers that's already answered. And I struggle with this. I would be on tours and backstage and in front of 4,000 people. And I'm like, man, God, this is so dope. But I'm working on this album that we're getting ready to roll out, and we need to do this, and I need to call these people. Rarely ever did I sit backstage and was like, yo, God, I get to serve you. Now, I'm not saying that I was just back there ungrateful, but I was not in the moment of like, God, let me empty myself in this moment of worship, right? And I don't feel bad about admitting that, right? Because I am a work in progress. But because of those moments, I have these. And you say, what is this? These are photos. Yes, I wanted to stop just fast forwarding through life, and I wanted to be in the moment. The thief of appreciating now is focusing on what's next. Don't miss that. The thief of appreciating right now, the gift of right now, is focusing on what's next. So what did I started to do? I bought a Polaroid camera. And I started to take pictures of meaningful moments for me to stop long enough and say, God, thank you. This is me in the car with my two daughters. Um, I had just accomplished something that I was praying for a long time. And my daughters was there to see me do that. And I did not want to miss that. But I can't get emotional, bro. No. Dang, God. But that's the benefit of being in the moment. Like, I could praise God even right now because I have evidence of, God, I prayed for it, and here's your hand, right? I'm not gonna go through all of them because I mean it's a lot of photos. But here's me backstage right before I'm getting ready to go out and worship. I told you I don't mind admitting that I didn't sit in those moments. You want to know why? Because I learned. Hey, God, you gave me this opportunity. God, I'm not going out here just to turn up. God, you gave me this platform, and I'm about to worship you, And I'm about to capture a moment of the people that I get to do this with. And that's me backstage in Florida before a concert. I'm gonna just share some of the moments. I'm gonna get back to the video. But um, man, come on, God. Ah, this is dope. Okay. Oh, I gotta get this one. This is I took my wife. She loves going to Florida for her birthday, and this is my wife. I took her to Florida, and no kids, and I just came downstairs at the hotel, and I said, "Man, baby, you look pretty." And I took the camera out and I snapped this photo. But I will remember, man, trying to be a good husband and please my wife and what she wanted for her birthday. Not the best husband, but I know for sure the enemy could definitely whisper, man, you're not good enough. You don't ever think of her. You don't ever do X, Y, and Z. But I got physical evidence of me praying to be a better husband. And I have a seed of me investing into my marriage. The thief of appreciating right now is always focusing on what's next. I'm not saying don't have vision. I'm not saying don't get busy. I'm not saying don't be locked in. What I'm saying is, as you locked in down there, make sure that you're saying, God, thank you for right now. Because I'm not where I was 90 days ago. I'm not where I was 60 days ago. You got to be in the moment. And for the people that, and well, I'll say this, the reason I started to take these photos and keep them in my office and I see them often, the reason why I wanted to do that is this. As long as the enemy can make you believe that your house is empty and that you have no value and that God is not doing anything, you will always think that you have nothing. You will always think that miracles don't exist in your life. But I guarantee you that all changes when you start to take inventory of God's faithfulness. Yes, I want to say it was when the year I took music serious full time. And some people say, "Man, you went full time music in this year, and it was so dope." No, every day I got out of the bed, I woke up extremely depressed. I don't even know why. I was extremely depressed, and I felt like everything big in life was not panning out. So you know what I started to do? Every day, and I still have it in my phone. Every day, I would write down January 13th, and I would write one thing to be grateful for. And I remember some days I was saying, Lord, I learned how to mix the milk for my daughter. That's what I'm grateful for. Because my wife is working full time, and it was me doing the music ministry full time, and me doing me being a dad full time. So I was learning two things at once. Matter of fact, I was learning two difficult things at once. But every day before my foot touched the floor, I would pull my phone out and I said, "Look, I have to fight to be grateful today. Lord, Lord, please just give me one thing to be grateful about." Okay? I fed my daughter. I wrote it in there. March 13th, my daughter ate 3 times and it was on schedule and I was not late for none of them. That's what I was grateful for. But I started to plant those seeds. God started to plant seeds of gratefulness in my life. And everything started to change because I started to take inventory. When I started to take inventory of God's faithfulness, oh, it was over with for the enemy. Oh yeah, yeah. I know the words of the enemy is a lie, right? That's one thing. But to see the lie is a whole nother thing. Yes, be anxious for nothing. And instead of being anxious about tomorrow and what the future is going to look like, put that energy into looking for God's hand and watch your life drastically change. What God did is the faith seed you need for what God can do. Can I bring that one back? What God did is the faith seed you need for what God can do. And you say, "Well, how do I let those faith seeds take root?" You got to take inventory. God's putting seeds in your hand, but the enemy just wants you to think that your house is empty. He just wants you to think that there's nothing happening for you. He wants you to take your eyes off of the miracle. Look, the miracle is in the mundane. The miracle is in the mundane. Meet me in the comments. The miracle is in the mundane. Look, it is Beezy here. Look, I'm praying for your peace. I'm praying for your new normal. I'm praying for a new vision. Look, send this video to somebody you know who needs it. I'm praying for your new normal. And until next time, peace.